Last week, I was in Tallahassee along with the superintendent and some fellow board members. We met with Representatives Flores, Fresson, Rivera. We also spoke with Senator Wise and Senate President Atwater, who was with Senator Diaz de la Portilla. Our discussions were informative and all interactions were positive as legislators expressed their appreciation for the work of the superintendent and the board. In addition, we heard Superintendent Carvalho speak before the House Education Pre-K-12 Appropriations Committee. The superintendent took the opportunity to highlight improvements by our district in the areas of academics and finances. The superintendent emphasized that the district's 4 basic principles, which are improving student achievement, protecting the classroom, protecting the workforce, and providing the district's viability in the future, are all things that we take very seriously. He pointed out how the district dramatically increased its reserve even as the economy deteriorated and reduced the budget by over $380 million while minimizing job losses. He spoke of how the workforce sacrificed to save jobs, giving up days of pay rather than seeing their colleagues laid off. Mr. Carvalho explained how the work year was reduced by 10 days for administrators and support personnel, saving $13 million, and how salaries of our non-school site administrators were reduced by between 2 and 5%. More than 300 positions were moved back to the school site on issues such as health care costs that are commonly thought to be beyond the control of an employer. He explained that the district implemented a self-insurance program, still providing a no-cost premium option for our employees, and have turned a potential $73 million increase into a $4 million decrease. As a result of our efforts to hold the line on expenditures not necessary to support the classroom, the implementation of a strict hiring freeze, and these other efficiencies, we have increased our reserves once only $4 million by over 1,800%. Again, at a time of historic declines in property tax and tax collections. Then, the superintendent turned to academics. Mr. Carvalho told the Education Committee that Miami-Dade County Public School students outperformed peers in major U.S. urban cities on a national assessment exam, specifically the math area, and how Hispanic students scored significantly higher than their national counterparts. Over half of the district schools earned an A, 90% of schools earned an A, B, or C, and there was a large drop in C and below schools. For the first time, over 50% of our 10th graders passed the reading portion of the FCAT on the first attempt. Among the highest minority participation and passing rates on advanced placement exams in the nation was also a point that the superintendent raised. He then dealt with the outlook for the future. One particular concern, he stated, was the sunsetting of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds, known as ARRA funds, and the imminent deadline for full implementation of the class size amendment. He emphasized that without the ARRA funds, the fiscal condition both here and throughout the entire state would have been catastrophic. In Miami-Dade, a conscious decision was made to use the stimulus dollars to save jobs and protect programs. Now, Mr. Carvalho concluded, we call on our legislature to respond with funding and flexibility. After a brief question and answer session, we met with Senate President Atwater, who recognized the work of the Miami-Dade School District, vowing to keep education cuts to a minimum. I believe while this trip was worthwhile, more work needs to be done. Please reach out to your elected representatives in Tallahassee to let them know your thoughts on education funding. Every legislator we spoke to told us it really does matter when their constituents speak up. Please feel free to use some of the points I mentioned earlier in making the case for funding education here in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And I hope to see some of you in Tallahassee. Thank you.